Hello and welcome to Monday, hanging out with the guys in the chill room. We have Buddy from Chicago. We have Eric from New Hampshire. We have Kevin from Ohio, John from Boston, and Jay, a man about everywhere. He's a citizen of the world.
Look, I'm a pilot now.
Yeah,
See, there I am flying.
I'm a fireman. So
there you go.
Yeah. What do you
John's
guys
an
wanna-
Indian chief.
He is. So I was talking to John last night, and John was thinking, we really ought to talk about the Super Bowl. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, we know the show's not going to air until maybe next year sometime. Or I don't know, at best next fall, Halloween.
St. Patrick's Day, at least. Yeah.
Perhaps, I don't know. But we can, so just to be clear, Super Bowl 2024. Okay, this is the one we're talking about, just in case the show airs late. Anybody have any thoughts about this?
I thought it was pretty cool that they had a Chicago DJ there, Cascade, doing the pre-ceremony and between everything. He was up there, and I was watching him. I'm like, he was rocking it out pretty well, and
look, he was having fun.
Yeah, he was looked like he enjoying himself, and that was kind of cool. They reached out to him. They had Tiesto originally, and Tiesto could not make it. Right. And I'm glad that Cascade got a chance to go there because that's a once in a lifetime kind of thing. And my question to everyone here would be, if the NFL called you and asked you to come there again, I don't think they get paid anything because I don't think Usher got paid anything or any of the artists get paid anything. I don't know if the DJ gets paid anything. Would you go and do that for free?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
I thought I heard Usher get paid like union scale.
Yeah, he gets the pay.
Whatever that is. I don't even know what that is.
It's literally if they hired you to go on a talk show, it's not millions, it's maybe thousands.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's more of the exposure. You can't buy that kind of exposure.
Right.
So the trade-off is, we all joke about you can't go to the bank and cash a check with exposure, but there are times.
Yeah,
if half the world is watching, then that kind of makes a difference. Yeah. So the exposure is actually worthwhile at that point.
Well, not only that, you're selling your music and you're selling your everything you have. If you have clothes or whatever, and your music's going to be popular at least for streaming. If people download MP3s for a while. Usher's always been popular among us, among DJs. But, regular people, you're like, oh, I forgot about that song. Oh, I got to put that on my playlist. Hopefully he makes a few more coins here and there, and it all adds up.
It was funny. My mom was like, well, how long has he been around? And I'm like, a while. And my son-in-law, who's 26 years old, he said, actually, when I was born, the number one song in America was an Usher song. Oh my gosh. Wow, he's been around that long, He's been around a minute. So it's not like he was some new artist. But I tell you, the moment that I had a little cringe, and it was as a DJ. I'm listening, because I was telling John, I didn't catch the whole performance. I actually went out into the shop for a minute and came back in, and Usher was still playing. And when I came back in, little John was like, I don't know, he was getting crowd passed or something. And they busted into Get Low for a couple bars. And you know how when we're doing legs and we do Get Low and we do To the Window, To the Walls, and no matter what version we play, what the rest of the audience is singing, I'm picturing in my head the entire Super Bowl going to the sweat drips down.
Yeah. Mercifully, they held back and didn't take it that far. You just got chorus and verse
before we got there. Yeah, but I'm like, oh no. We know what happens.
I'm sure we all thought oh no, this could go so poorly right here. But
did you look at last year the same way with Dre and 50 Cent and Snoop and Eminem?
No, I looked at this year this way because I play that song every week because I have to, because it's the law, I think. And they always sing the other lyrics.
Right.
So
that was my fear.
It's conditioning for me to think, oh no, I like the song. I'm fine with the song.
But are they going to sing?
But I'm thinking you're going to have the whole Super Bowl audience singing about balls.
The whole church
No.
group singing.
Yeah.
What would happen if you showed up and played, you know, any
It'd be
number
like
of songs?
Moni
that
Moni.
have-
It'd be,
I was
it would
just
be
going
like
to say,
that.
yeah, that's probably the
Hey,
best example. And then kill the music on, you know, hey,
Yeah.
everybody, get
Right.
There's no extra words in this song, people. There's no extra words. Stop.
Like
No.
there is 7-second delay now, so I suppose, but that would be weird. But let's see what happens.
I just thought from the very beginning on, they had a girl who I didn't know her.
Mm.
She sang a song, and then Post Malone sang, and then Reba McEntire sang.
Right.
And as you're probably all aware, there's bets on everything. How long the song will be. There was a sports bet on the first word Usher would say. There's all these bets. But the one thing that I found throughout was, and I think it's because the mics went through the house PA back to front of house. The mics were terrible. The mics were light. I have a sound bar. It's not the best in the world, but it was always quiet on the vocals for all the performances. And I can't be the only one that had that effect.
I
heard that. I heard that too, especially
The
when
show was
Usher
low.
was singing.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Post
Tracy and I
Malone
were like-
singing was quiet. The girl was quiet. Reba was a little louder, but, you know, and Usher was okay, but it wasn't the kind of sound that I expect from that. You know, I've been involved in one Super Bowl when it was in San Diego, working with the NFL to do a couple parties. And I know what their standards were back in 2003, and they were high. They were like no cutting corners, only the best gear, because we had the commissioner give a speech, and Jerome Bettis spoke, and a couple other players, and it was like, "What are you using for a sound system?" I'm like, "Oh, we have this in-house thing. Nope. We need better. I mean, I was renting like $2,000 and $3,000 Shure mics for them. Okay, this will work." So I just was shocked that the sound wasn't really I thought it was.
Yeah, it could have
And
been
it's
a
like,
board
who's
up,
your
yeah.
audience? And I question, you know, we all do holiday parties where you have one person contact you and they tell you the music the group likes. Then the group shows up and you're like, does this person actually work at the same company? Like,
Yeah.
I don't see the 50s and 60s doo-wop. I see like 2000s, late 90s hip hop.
Right.
Like, how did you get this one so wrong? I always wonder what it is that goes into the planning. Like, who do you guys
Okay,
want to have
well-
sing America the Beautiful?
Well, okay. Before you go any further and bring up more topics, let's address your mic thing that you talked about. Let's
Okay.
talk about that.
They
Let's
were
talk about
too
the tech
low.
thing. They were too low. I didn't hear it, but I mean, I think we all know that when it's hard because that's a portable stage that they got to push out and bring back in. There's a lot of things that have to happen. I mean, I'm sure it was some board operator's issue. I mean,
They showed a highlight. They showed the highlights from past performances,
mhm.
and, you know, they were crystal clear. Prince was crystal clear in a rainstorm with his
Right.
vocal. But yet last night, they were light. I thought they were light a couple years ago when The Weeknd performed. I thought the vocals were terribly low. And again, I can't be the only one. And it's at least, you know, I don't recall last year, I didn't pay much attention to Snoop and all those guys and Dre. They seemed okay, but yeah, it jumped out
Well,
at
that
me.
was all vocal. I mean,
Well, and that's it. So I think that
You know.
may have been why it sounded better.
yeah.
Yeah. What goes
But-
to broadcast would not be the same as what they're experiencing in the stadium.
I was
Because, you know,
just
there's a
thinking the same
delay
thing.
at some point because it's on time because his lips are moving in time with the words, but there's going to be a delay in the stadium. You're going to have that
Right.
millisecond echo.
Unless there's some way to
compensating.
plan that out with the speaker system that
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, before we get too hard on the NFL, I mean, this could have been somebody at the network that was mixing sound for broadcast, opposed to, like John said, what was going on in the stadium. We don't know because we weren't.
Well, I assumed they were going through the stadium sound and then feeding it back out for live. But when they showed the highlight with Prince, and I'm like, I mean, it sounds like Prince is singing in my living room.
yeah.
How come this year it didn't?
You know,
like, you
something
can-
else.
You know,
Go
they
ahead.
just, you can look at them.
Something else I was thinking too, just when you guys were talking about this. I mean, when I was at the casino the other night, there was a delay in the video from what I was playing to what was coming out on the screens. And it had to do with some processing gear that was there. It's new technology, of course. You think about when Prince played, I mean, I don't know, that stuff was probably more analog than it is now. It's probably all digital now.
Sure. Right. That was what I was.
And I think that stuff gets quirky. It gets very quirky.
The more digital processing you add, the more screwed up things can get quickly.
Yeah. I don't know. But then, what was your other thing you were talking about, Jay? You were also talking about.
I'm curious.
Who's picking the axe?
Who's picking the axe? Because they don't get paid. They might get scale.
Yeah.
But it's a long gone thing that a lot of people get asked to perform and say no.
Mm-hmm.
Because they may not have anything to sell. They may not have anything that they're promoting.
Right.
And sometimes it's they go through periods. Remember when it was like Tom Petty, then The Who, then Chili Peppers, then Prince, and then it started going more R&B, and it's a tough stage. You have very limited time. I wouldn't want to jump out in the middle of a game like the Super Bowl,
right,
and perform and expect greatness.
We have 13 minutes.
That's why Prince set such a high bar.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I heard the producer talk one time, and he's like, "Hey, just so you know, it's raining." He's like, "Can you make it rain harder?" Yeah. That came out of Prince's mouth to the director. Can you make it rain harder? Right. Thinking they had something to do with it.
Well,
he understood this is a show opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, maybe Purple Rain wasn't in the set, but he's like, this needs to happen now. I wasn't.
That was cool.
It was cool, but don't you think Usher gave us a 15-minute version of his show in Vegas?
He might have, and
that's what it looked like to me. And it's like, it's the Super Bowl, dude. You got to go a little bigger and better. We all knew Usher would bring up Ludacris and Little John.
Did not have
maybe Alicia.
I did not have a problem with his performance. One thing that I refuse to do is to compare everything to Prince, because if I do, nothing else is going to be good enough.
Well, not even just
do
Prince.
That. It's like comparing every woman to my mother. It's like,
but it's
not going to ever be good enough
to really go for it. Like, you're not getting this big of an audience ever again. You got to, blow yourself up, give birth, do something really that people are forever going to go, whoa.
Yeah, but it's Usher. It's not like it's R&B stuff. It's crossed over to top 40. He did have the guest artists on. I thought he had a nice variety of guest artists on. He had Lil Jon up there. He had her up there. It was nice. I thought it was fine. The more interesting question I think to ask is, just like us when we're doing any event, can you please everybody all the time? I mean, can you? Is there anything you can play where everybody's happy and no one feels marginalized? Or
I've never had that issue.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, but even outside of that, like I said, I just think when you're given that big of a stage, you have to take whatever it is you do and go. I mean, you guys remember Lady Gaga? She came out of the rafters.
Yeah,
we're talking like a drop of like 100 feet. That's dramatic. That's whoa! Did she just do that? And I just kind of looked at Usher and thought, I thought it was a good show. By the way,
it was fun.
It was a good show.
I thought it was a good show. I thought he played the right tracks.
Yeah, it had a low energy level. That was
for years. All I've heard are people complain about the Super Bowl halftime performances. I mean, for years, every time there's something to moan about. And I'm like, what do you want? It's not a marching band, because that's what you used to get. Do you want to bring back the marching band? Because you can do that, or we can bring out a cool contemporary.
Let them talk about what happened in the first half. How about we do that? How about we make it a football game and just talk about what happened in the first half and then go into the second half?
Yeah.
Do we really need
one
all
of the things,
that performance stuff?
One of the things people are forgetting, this is a free entertainment. This is entertainment on your television, on broadcast TV. It has to be, broadcast TV level, so no foul language. But also the other thing is that it has to be the widest swath possible for that artist. And the artist is trying to hit all their hits. And they're going to try and make sure if you're a fan, you love it. If you're not a fan, you can at least, feel good about it. And again, you're trying to make sure it's free entertainment. It doesn't cost you anything. So these people saying, "Oh, it was bad, it was good, it was this," I say, you know what? It was free. If you paid for the ticket, if you were there and you had to pay for the concert, then okay, I can see you complaining. But again, it's a free thing. sit back, relax, enjoy it. Embrace the moment, and have fun with it.
There's one act that they could bring out for a Super Bowl halftime that would please everybody. Nobody would be upset. Kenny Loggins. I'm kidding, guys. Come on. He's a smart bomb. There's always something Kenny Loggins that somebody likes. Jay looks disappointed at that.
I could put a 13-minute set of Kenny Loggins.
But it would have been better than Post Malone, okay?
Hey, you know what?
I
Before
agree
you
with
start
that.
hating on Post Malone, I think the guy did a really good job. He sounded great.
No, to
You
me,
didn't like him?
He's a bit of a lightning rod. You've got an audience.
Performance. Yeah, I mean, it was
was
understated
okay.
and it was nice,
Yeah,
Yeah,
He
I have
could
a hard time
have
looking at
tried
him
to go
too.
nuts.
But
It
he
was fine.
He looked
But that's
great.
what I thought of everything last night. It was fine. And, Buddy's correct. I didn't pay to see Usher. Usher was delivered for free. But regardless, I'm allowed to have a level of, wow, that was either okay, fine, amazing, or not good.
I just don't know why.
All of it was just fine.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, and that's all the best we can expect. I think that's fine. It's just odd to me that since Prince performed, which was what was it 20 years ago? Not quite. Well, maybe
No,
about
2007, I think.
that. More
2007.
well, I meant 10. Yeah, so quite a while back. I mean, we're talking about 15-ish years ago. We're still using him as the bar. Now, come on, we've seen.
But he went above and beyond
Of
what
course
was
he did.
expected of a free performance.
Yeah, no, but
He's
it's
a good
But
Prince.
if you're an
It's
entertainer,
Prince.
that's your job.
Michael Jackson's done this, hasn't he?
I don't
He's
know,
done a halftime show.
But I think
Didn't he do it
Janet
one
did a
time?
good job. I think
I
Janet
don't
Jackson did
recall.
all right.
Why do I think Michael Jackson did it once?
don't know.
That might have
Maybe
been
I'm
around
wrong on
bad,
this.
between bad and dangerous. I think he did it back. It was
In
maybe
the
93.
But what's
90s?
funny about this, no one's talking about Michael Jackson's performance. I know Madonna's done it. No one's talking about her performance, but they're still talking about Prince's performance because he's just that good. Can't beat-
But he did that much. He did the same. Prince was dead or alive. Prince is still being talked about for his guitar solo
Right.
on "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" with every
Yeah.
famous musician on stage with him because
Yeah,
he saw the opportunity
yeah.
and he took it and ran with it, and that's
Well-
what he did at the Super Bowl. He got permission from Dave Grohl to play a Foo Fighters song as
Yeah.
part of his medley.
Yeah.
Like, he's a brilliant dude. He knows what buttons to push to get the right responses. I just
So
thought
it's
Usher
kind of
came
a-
out and said, here's what you could pay to see in Vegas for 2 hours. Let me give you a 15-minute breakdown. And that's fine. That's good. But he didn't have a moment that you walk away and go, that. And I think
Well,
that when you perform in front of 1 billion people, you try to get a performance that's got that moment.
All right.
Just
The other good
an
part
opinion.
about this,
Okay.
the whole entire thing, we did not have a wardrobe malfunction.
Right. Yeah, it's very important.
He took his shirt off.
Yeah.
But that wasn't
And
a
hey,
function.
but that
I'm
was
not
on
Johnny
purpose.
Atlas, but maybe cut back on the sweets a little there, kid.
And he's not my type, but he looked good with that shirt off for his age.
All right. Well, now
So
your
my
vision's
wife
just
said.
as bad as everything else.
Okay,
is.
So
let's
my
move
wife
on.
said.
Let's move on to the next hater moment here.
Okay.
And that would be something that my daughter made a comment about, which were the commercials.
Oh, they were no.
The Super Bowl commercials used to be a lot of bang zoom. Wow, I've never seen anything like that before. And I tell you, I wasn't watching this intensely. It was my mother's birthday. It was on. The family was sitting in the family room, and we look over once in a while. But I tell you, the one that I thought was clever was the Christopher Walken one. I thought that was clever. I didn't see them all.
It wasn't bad. The Duncans with Tom Brady, and it was funny.
And Tom Brady and Matt Damon. And,
That damn.
yeah.
The Schwarzenegger
Yeah.
one was cute.
Tom Brady was too much on last night. Just
I didn't like those donuts. I'm sorry.
They had two Jesus commercials last night. too.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was strange.
And I knew what it was because I'd seen the feet washing thing happen at a certain movie before. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, that's $14 million.
They're spending a lot of money on
commercials. Yeah,
Oh,
Here we go.
What's it,
7
7
million.
million a commercial?
7 million a commercial. Yeah,
Yeah.
But I was thinking to
Expensive.
myself for a long time, the Super Bowl was the place to kind of highlight the technology that could go into this kind of stuff. And I think we've
Not
seen
last night.
No, but that's my point. I think we've seen it all. There's nothing to talk about anymore. So they had to kind of rely on clever things again. And I thought that the Schwarzenegger one was clever, and I thought the Christopher Walken one was clever.
Walken was really funny too. Yeah,
it was almost a little refreshing. But what I saw and what resonated with me, yeah, there was some stuff that was like, huh, what? There was some Michelob one with some guy playing soccer I didn't know, but I'm not a sports guy.
Neighbor. Yeah.
Or Choppa.
Well, they also did something new this year, or at least it seemed new this year. I saw almost all of the commercials last week.
Yeah.
And the Christopher Walken one, they started like he's answering his phone from his agent. He's like, hello? What do you mean a pre-commercial? Like it's a pre-commercial for the commercial? I don't understand. And that's the end of it. And it was literally that. It was a drop to get you excited about the real commercial.
Something's going to happen with Christopher Walken.
And then they launched the real commercial last week on YouTube.
Yeah.
The only one they didn't launch was the Schwarzenegger, and they didn't launch the full version of the Dunkin' Donuts one. But normally, like Brian says, we get some cool technology. I mean, did you guys see the one for Usher with Tim Cook of Apple?
I did.
Ludacris calls him, and they do a hangover takeoff because it's in Vegas. Okay, that's the lowest common denominator, but I get it. And it's Little John and Usher running around Vegas, or Little John and Ludacris telling Tim Cook they lost Usher, and Tim Cook's got an Usher t-shirt. The guy's an old man. He looked out of place with an Usher t-shirt. Like there could have been a better way to spin that around. Like,
right. No, but then we found him because he was at a Christopher Walken commercial sitting. He's like, don't you have somewhere to be? Right. And
right. Exactly.
Right.
That was creative.
Yeah.
But again, they didn't have a lot of the creativity that, like Brian said, in the years.
No, I thought it was some of the stuff was written very cleverly. They weren't relying on the tech this time. I think a lot of times they tend to rely on the tech. Like, oh, that's amazing. I've never seen that before. But
I think the 9/11 commercial from Bud is still probably my favorite. And there's no actors. There's no vocal. It's just the horses.
Yeah.
And it's insanely moving.
They're bringing back those horses, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's get back to business. Yeah, they said, let's get back to normal. You're a bad ad.
Yeah. $7 million. Can you imagine if you had $7 million and I said, give me a 30 or 60-second spot?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be in Hollywood hiring the best of the best. Like
Christopher Walken and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, pretty much. And say, here, you're going to get inside an $80,000 car. Okay. Because that's anyone with 80 grand for a car. That's what they need. They need a push. No, they don't. Go out and sell a Toyota Corolla or something.
Okay. So on that note, I got one more observation before we wrap the show. And it was, I wasn't surprised at this, but the way people were talking, I think a lot of people were surprised. Taylor Swift wasn't on camera every 30 seconds like they thought she was going to be.
What channel were you watching?
Yeah, not for our broadcast.
I saw her a couple times. That was it.
I didn't see half the game.
The over-under was 5.5 during the game. That was the Vegas line. There was a line
on that too.
5.5.
Line on everything.
Taylor Swift was seen, and because the game was every time Travis, Kelsey does something,
right up to her,
she'll be shown. And I think she was shown 4 times during the game.
That's not bad.
Well, he did nothing in the first half. He did
nothing. He yelled at his coach.
Yeah, that was funny.
And he took a knee during the national anthem.
And he should leave the singing to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to sing at the end.
Taylor was going to come down and sing with Usher.
I think that was just because he did that the night before. He did that on Fallon the night before. He sang Beastie Boys as a skit. So
okay,
that's why that was the callback.
I don't know. I think everybody thought that she was just going to take over the show. And I'm thinking about the demographic, how different it might have been with all the Swifties tuning in who don't normally watch football. They're checking it out just for a glimpse of her.
Yeah, yeah.
So the audience was huge.
She made them millions this year.
Right.
Millions.
That's what I heard.
That's what
I heard. Yeah. I heard the
millions. Yeah. She's been nothing but good for the game of football this year. People are whining about it. She's been nothing but good. She got a whole new audience of people
Yeah.
that want nothing to do with sports or football going, I'll watch it if I think I can see Taylor Swift.
Yeah, what's going on? Okay, that's Cascade. Okay, there's Usher, and okay, well, there's Post Malone. I mean, they're seeing things. They're seeing commercials. They're being entertained by something other than guys running around in a field playing with the ball. It's the Super Bowl,
Right?
which
Mhm.
my
But it's
daughter
kind of like
pointed out.
20 years from now, are we going to be? They're just not going to have a game and just do like celebrity spotting, a few people sing, and call it a day. It seems like there's a part of it that's moving away from the actual point of being there. Is it's a game.
Yeah, but it's a game that I wouldn't have normally watched.
You
I'm not
wouldn't
a
have watched
sports
any
fan.
football.
Well, that's not necessarily true. If I'm with my mom, I do. And we were, like I said, at her house. It was her birthday. So she had it on and we were watching it. And it was interesting, but I wouldn't have watched it otherwise, probably.
But on a normal Sunday, if you were home with Blanca, would you watch a football
Blanca's
game?
not allowed to watch football.
Why?
Because I live in Packer country, dude. And she's a Packer freak. And
She likes Packers?
dude, it's the law here. Okay.
Oh,
If
yeah.
the Packers don't do well, it puts her in a mood. Not only is she screaming at the screen the whole time, and it's scary because she never raises her voice, but she's in a rotten mood for days afterwards. They don't do well. So finally, I swear to you, I Blanca's an independent spirit. You know that I don't mess with her. But I walked up to her and I said, honey, I love you, but you're not allowed to watch football anymore. And she said, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's a coin toss. You don't know what side you're going to get. You could be
She knows what happens. It's like, I don't need anything else to put you in a rotten mood. So you're not allowed to do this anymore. She said, okay. And that was the end of that conversation. That was
But I think that's why it's so intense. You only get 16 games. That's it. You're only getting 16 games. You're getting 8 home, 8 away. And that's your season, unless you go into championship. And there's a lot riding. I mean, 160 baseball games? How many basketball games?
I don't know. She don't watch baseball.
90? 100?
Yeah.
But dude, it's without getting into it. And again, I'm not a sports fan. It gets weird up here. And she gets into it. It's not, Buddy will tell you, he's right here. He kind of knows we're different when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's goofy. So
there's a huge rivalry between Chicago and Green Bay, and it's one of the things that Green Bay fans. I don't know who's more rabid, either us Chicagoans for our Bears, or the people who are Green Bay fans up there. And it's huge. When you see that stuff, you get into it. I'm sure just like out east in Mr. Colley's area, for the New England Patriots and stuff like that.
I was showing John the map last night, how far I am from Chicago and how far I am from Green Bay. I'm much closer to Chicago than I am Green Bay, like by an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's way up there.
So, geographically speaking, it would make more sense for people where I live to be into the Bears than it would be to the Packers, seeing how it's in the middle of the damn North Woods. But it's just the law here.
You get down to Kenosha and Racine, you start seeing a lot of Bear stuff down there. It's very
Well,
very cool.
Here.
When I go up there, I'm like, I still feel like I'm in the suburb of Chicago. I still feel
I don't have a horse in the game. I don't care. I don't care who you like and who you don't like, and I don't care. But it's
I know not to wear a Bear shirt when I come over to your house.
It's kind of like we're in colors in the wrong neighborhood in LA. just
asking for
things
it.
Or maybe I might. I don't know.
And on that note, let's end this broadcast and just hang out for a while. Thanks for joining us, and join us next week. And as always, this show is brought to you by DJ Planner. Check them out in the description of this video on YouTube.